Starlink's rapid growth results in congestion and slow speeds. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of misty morning, and that is it. I'm getting to the end of my cup. I need to go make another cup of tea. Are you joining me with your cup of tea? Maybe a cup of coffee? I hope so. As we always do, we talk tech, photo, and video on this channel. Today is going to be a tech day. It is a Starlink day. You guys love these things, so I keep making them for you. When you tell me you don't want to hear about Starlink anymore, I will stop. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about Starlink and how things have been going downhill, so to speak. Slow speeds, congestion, high latency. It has just been a mess. Now, Starlink has been a godsend to many rural customers. When they first got Starlink, they're like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. These folks now in the rural area have access to broadband. Basically, Elon Musk has bridged that digital divide. So people were extremely happy. Now they're able to work from home and not have any kind of problems. Well, that's what they thought. And that's how it was for a short period of time, even with myself. I, for one, had Starlink service that was absolutely fantastic. I would even call it stellar. I was getting download speeds of up to 300 megabits down, upload speeds of 40, 45, sometimes close to 50 megabits up, which was just crazy to me. But now I'm experiencing high latency, low speeds, congestion. It's just a mess. And I know they're working on it. And this video is more about a means for me to convey to you my experience and hopefully handhold people off the cliff where they're just bailing out of Starlink and say, listen, it's going to get better. I hope so. So I want to give you my experiences as I always do. And anyone that's been watching me for the last 7 months coming out of beta, all the information that I give you is 100% factual. It is my experience. But with everything that I say, you should take it with a grain of salt. Because once again, these are my experiences, and experiences vary from region to region, folks to folks. It just depends on where you are. You could have a pine tree that's blocking your connection. And now all of a sudden you have an obstruction, and now your service is crap. So I don't have any of these obstructions. Everything is flawless. So when there's a problem, I tell you about the problem, and then it's usually a problem. A lot of times we get rain fade, but that's my issue. Here in Florida, there's a ton of rain. Anyways, I read an article over on PC Magazine, and it came out right around the time where they were having a lot of problems. Starlink was it was like last week or the week before. It was just horrendous. And they put out this article, and I just want to talk to you about it a little bit because it just gave me fodder or food for thought, as we would say. And they highlighted a woman, she's in Wisconsin, that, as they quoted, rage quit Starlink and just said, you know what, I'm done. I'm going back to my old ISP. I just can't handle this anymore. She originally came on board in a rural environment because she wanted to work from home. And she was quoted in saying, it was really fast for the first few months, and then it got predictably bad every single day. I was lagging so much I couldn't participate in video meetings, and download speeds would drop to 8 to 10 megabits in the afternoon. It was at the point I couldn't be functional at my work. And this happens a lot. People use broadband to work today. A lot of people work from home. They're on Zoom meetings, all type of video conferences going on. So we need high-speed access, and that means everyone. Not just folks that are in the city, the people in the rural environments also. And that's exactly what Elon Musk was doing here. He put out Starlink as a way to once again bridge that digital divide and get the people in the rural areas high-speed internet access at a reasonable cost. And that's what he's working on. Is it there yet? Kind of, sort of, but not really. And it's expanding, and there's a lot of growing pains going on. Now, like I said, I can feel her pain. I've been on both sides, from getting extreme speeds of 300 by like 40 or 45 up, all the way down to 100 by 10, and now sometimes much slower. At the time that this article was written was right around that time where Starlink was in just disarray. It was about a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago at this point. somewhere around there, when I was doing a live stream and it was just error after error. I was getting just kicked off continuously, outage after outage, 15-second outage, 5-second outage, a minute outage, 30-second, and it was sunny outside. I'm like, my God, it was just it was a complete bust. The live stream was a bust, and I had to apologize to everyone. So once again, I can feel her pain. Now, in this article, they highlighted another guy. I forgot where he was from. I think he was from Texas, and his last name was Lawyer. I think that's perfect. Anyways, he was claiming horrible speeds also, and he ended up showing or uploading or sending in a picture of a bunch of speed tests that he did. 6 up, 6 down with a latency or millisecond of 181 milliseconds, and then another test from his phone that was 4 megabits down and 3 megabits up with a latency of 128 milliseconds, and then finally one on his computer. And this one kind of didn't sit well with me because it had a latency of 20 milliseconds. The other ones were like 100, 128, whatever, over 100. This was 20 milliseconds, but it had a download speed of 0.7 download and upload speed of 0.81. So you're looking at less than 1 megabit, but with a latency of 20 milliseconds. I don't know. Something feels wrong there. Something feels wrong, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. But once again, take all of this data always with a grain of salt, because you don't know. Sometimes people upload stuff that, you know what I mean. Anyways, Mr. Lawyer here is quoted in saying that speeds are absolutely getting worse, period. He also added, my wife and I could get by with 30 megabits per second, but we aren't getting even that with any kind of usable consistency. Now, Starlink originally boasted some pretty big numbers and big statements. They were quoted in saying download rates ranging from 50 megabits to as high as 200 megabits, making it possible to stream movies, hold video calls, and even play online video games without much lag. So those are big statements. And when you see these people that can't do video conferencing, you see me getting booted off through my live stream on YouTube, and the numbers are just simply not there. It makes you wonder what is going on. Now, like I said, last week was by far the worst ever. And I think it was the catalyst for this article being written, because I think a lot of people wrote into PC Magazine saying, look, I can't do this anymore. I'm frustrated. Here's some images of my speeds. This is what they have said to me. So I think that's why this article was written, and I can see why. Now, many customers are speculating that Starlink is just simply oversold at this point and causing unexpected congestion and slow speeds and higher than normal latency. And remember, I predicted this, right, guys? Do you guys remember? I predicted this was going to happen. And some people were saying, oh, no, you're wrong. You're just, this is a conspiracy. You don't like Elon. Some guy actually said I didn't like Elon or something, Elon is, no, you know how people get. As soon as they wrap their hands around something, they buy it, all of a sudden they become a fanboy of it or a fangirl of it, and then they can't do no wrong. And they have to justify their purchase. I'm not like that. If I buy something, let's say I buy a camera and I don't think that it's good, I'm going to tell you it's not good. I'm not going to make up stories just to justify my stupid purchase, okay? I'm not like that. But anyways, you always are going to get the fanboys. But I was 100% right. I explicitly stated when Starlink came out with their roaming service and created that business class where their business people were paying 5 times the price. Instead of $100 a month, it was $500 a month. Instead of $500 for the kit, it was $2,500 for the kit. And then they came out with that RV and boating and all kinds of other roaming stuff. I said that the service is going to get throttled. In my mind, there was absolutely no question of it. They have to, willfully or not, throttle the service. Either it's going to be throttled due to congestion, or it's going to be throttled because they just need to throttle it to be able to have bandwidth or enough bandwidth for everyone. Now, I did a few speed tests. I'm going to show you what they are. I'll probably just run them on the screen for a few seconds. And the speed tests were done during a rainstorm outside. but you can see what the speeds are. Now, if it wasn't raining, they would be slightly higher. But as of right now, during the day, in the afternoon here, we're getting about 40 megabits to 100 megabits, somewhere in between there, and anywhere from about 4 to 8, sometimes 9 megabits up. That's a far cry from the 300 megabits I was getting before and 30 to 40 plus megabits on the upside that I was getting before. Not even close even to the minimum that they were talking about, which is 100 meg down and 10 meg up. These speeds just simply don't hold water, so to speak. And when the skies are clear, I am getting right around 100 megs down, 10 megs up, somewhere right around there, 8 megs up, somewhere. Always the up speed is always reduced for some reason. They'll let the down speed kind of fluctuate anywhere between 80 to 100, 120, somewhere around there. They'll kind of let it go. But when it comes to that up speed, when it hits that 10, you can just see that, just snap that throttling on. It's just like it'll go pop 15 and back down to 10 and then slowly go down to maybe 8 or something. That is classic throttling. Period. End of story. I don't care what anyone says. That is not congestion. When you see that pop up to 15, 20 megabits and then all of a sudden just bang right back down to 10, 11 and then slowly come down, that is throttling. Just watch your pings. You will see it. It's apparent. Those pings will just pop up nice and high as that thing throttles back, and then your pings will come back down. Anyways, Starlink, for sure, 100% is throttling. And come to think about it, I do believe that this throttling is just simply what Starlink or SpaceX Starlink is having to do to provide headroom for everyone. And I think the headroom is more for the people that are roaming. These new services that they're providing. These roaming services, these RV services, these services are for customers that were never in that location before. So if you do not have headroom for them, once they come into a location, what service are they going to get? Now, if you didn't know it, in May, when they released that Starlink RV program where you can have mobile access and that Starlink RV can be paused at any time, well, during those first 3 weeks that they introduced that Starlink RV, they sold over 30,000 new accounts. 30,000 new customers came on board. Where are they? Who knows? They're everywhere, right? So once again, if you don't have headroom for these people that are wandering around, well, you're not going to have any type of access for them, and they're going to quit because they're getting horrible access. Now, Starlink did say that if you do get Starlink RV, you are going to be throttled. And during peak times, you're not going to get as much service as the people that are home users, for example. And they are sticking to this. This is absolutely the case because I get comments all the time saying, hey, my Starlink is extremely slow. And yeah, rightfully so. It's slow because you are a mobile client. You are roaming. You are an RV client or whatnot. And they said that it will be slow. Now, if we look at it, it's pretty plain and simple to see. The business class that are paying the most, they are paying 5x more than the home. They're getting the lion's share, right, of the service. Then the home customers are getting throttled so they can give the business class their maximum speed and provide headroom for the RV and mobile customers, right? That's what the home customers are doing. And then you have the RV customers that are basically getting the scraps. Now, there was another thing in this article that was a little bit disheartening to me, and it was a Starlink customer that wrote into PC Magazine, and they shared a message that they received from SpaceX Starlink's customer service through their ticketing service. When they asked them, why is things so slow, their latency, they're getting booted, all kinds of problems that they had, Starlink replied with a message to them. And what they did is they shared it with PC Magazine. And I was reading this message and I'm like, this really sounds familiar. Let me just read a little bit of it to you. It says, We have performed a general health check on the data from your Starlink and see that you are currently online with normal Starlink performance. We are aware of customers reporting lower download and upload speed. These fluctuations are due to congestion in certain areas and peak usage times. We expect improvements as we fully deploy our satellite constellations with future launches, yada, yada, yada. So I went back to a question that I put into SpaceX Starlink right around this time when my stream just went to hell. It was just absolute crap, and the service just went into the toilet. And I wrote into him and I told him what happened. And for me, I get very detailed. I'm very anal. I tell them exactly what's going on. I basically do like their technical service. Okay. I get in there into the nitty gritty and see what's going on. And I tell them, and they came back with this. Hi, Joseph. Thank you for reaching out regarding slow speeds. We apologize for the inconvenience and the delay in getting back to you. We have performed a general health check on the data from your Starlink and see that you are currently online with normal Starlink performance. Sounding about the same. We are aware of customers reporting lower download and upload speeds. These fluctuations are due to congestion in certain areas and peak usage times. We expect improvements as we fully deploy our satellite constellations with future launches, yada, yada, yada. Boilerplate. That's one thing that I cannot stand is when a company does a Control-C and a Control-V on your question. Don't do it. It's frustrating. And especially when you see it blatant like this. Don't do it. If someone puts out a question that's very detailed and they know what they're talking about, at least attempt to give them some type of answer that is specific to them. So I sent in this question and I didn't get a response back. I appreciate the apology for taking so long. For 5 days. It was 5 days before I got this boilerplate, the exact same message that this guy did or this gal did that wrote into PC Magazine. The same one. So anyways, I do feel that Starlink is having growing pains, okay? They're going through some serious growing pains, but I think a lot of it is due to their own stupidity, okay? SpaceX is not only working on putting Starlink onto planes, but also now, just a couple of weeks ago, they released a maritime version of their service for boats. More congestion, right? More congestion. So remember, the beta program is now over like 7 months ago, all right? It's been out of beta for 7 months, and Starlink has a whopping like 500,000 customers at this point. They picked up 30,000 just for releasing the RV service, okay? So in my personal opinion, I think that Starlink needs to spend a chunk of money on a US-based customer service call center, 24 hours. And some people aren't going to like this, and I think they need to slow their roll when it comes to putting out new services and bringing in new customers until the time comes that they can provide a more stable service to the customers that they already have. You can't just keep on rolling out more and more and more when you only have this much. You can't expect this much out of it when you only have this much. The pie can only be sliced so many times in so many ways and so much percentage to who and what. We understand that the business class gets the lion's share and we understand that the roaming gets the scraps. But what's happening is the people in the middle are having to give to both. The people in the middle, the home clients, let's say, are their biggest customers, number one, but they're the ones that are now having to give to the business class to provide them maximum speed and give headroom to the mobile class so that they can just have some service. So I think it's an issue, and I think it's something that they need to look at and somehow address. That's my personal opinion. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you think. How is your service? Are you seeing something similar? Things are getting a little bit better to the way they were a week or two ago when everything went to crap. So they are getting better. So maybe they are fixing things. I really don't know. I'm hoping for their version 2s to get launched sometime soon so that we can get this inter-satellite lasers working properly so that there's less ground stations needed and we're going to end up getting lower latency and faster speeds. I will be waiting. And I hope that you will also be waiting, because I do think that this is an awesome service and it's only going to get better. Unlike other ISPs that continuously get worse over the years and continuously charge more, I think that this service is going to get better. It has room to grow, number one. And number two, they are launching satellites at a breakneck speed. Just the other day, they launched another like 50. So this is happening continuously. I think that during the month of July, this month, they've launched more satellites than ever in a single month's period. So they are definitely working at it, and it will get better, in my personal opinion. So once again, I want to know your thoughts. And if you want more content about Starlink, I did about 50 or 60 videos. Go check out my Starlink playlist. I think you'll like it. Go check it out. There's a lot of good stuff over there. If you enjoyed this content even in the least, throw it a thumbs up. That would be spectacular. Also, subscribe to the channel and click this little bell icon over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you will be notified of it immediately. And head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. And if you just want to say thank you for all the work that I do here, there's a little thank you button right down here. Click on that. Or even better, become a member of the channel. That would be awesome. So that's it, guys. I'm out of here for another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.